Welcome to the Founders Corner, brought to you by OneBridge Accounting. Here's your host, Eli Clark. Hey everyone, Eli Clark here, co-founder and CEO of OneBridge Accounting and host of the Founders Corner podcast. Today's guest is Eva Wolf, the CEO of Ask Wolf. Eva, very excited to have you. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. I'm excited too. Hello, everyone. And yeah, let's jumping into this episode of podcast. I think it will be fun to speak about all these markets and agencies' life and global agency. It's a big topic. It's a big challenge, but I'm excited to share what I know.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a ton of fun. It's going to be a cool episode. Let's go ahead and jump in. And Eva, kind of just give us a quick rundown of your agency, what you guys do, how long you've been in business, and then kind of what makes you unique, what kind of stands you out from the market.
Yay! So I'm Eva. I'm from France. I opened my company 10 years ago in Normandy. I'm from Normandy, a little town called Rouen. I always say it's between Paris and London, so people can kind of situate it. I grew up in Normandy, born and raised, and around 18 years old, I always been this girl who liked moving a lot and a lot of ideas, and I couldn't sit really at the university. I did science, and I get my bachelor in science, but after it was no way I could sit like for 8 years. So I don't know, I started to do some business, have some jobs here and there. And one day, my neighbor asked me to build his anniversary. So it was a restaurant, a small business. And I was like, I'm not event planner. What you talking about? I'm your neighbor. And he was like, come on, Eva, you know a lot of people, you do a lot of party. I can see you upstairs because, it's like apartment, like in Europe, it's really like teeny cities and roads. Especially in my town, it's very old town. It's very pretty, actually. If you want to, guys, have a look at Rouen, it's a very nice spot to go for tourism. Anyway, so 1 month and the second month, and I was like, Eva, come on. And I was like, what's the deepest problem? Like, why you want me to do this event? And he started to explain that it's hard for him every month. He don't do a lot of turnover, and he's looking for solution basically to increase his turnover. And I was like, okay, that's different. It's just not a birthday. And it's I start to be an event planner. So my company started in 2015. So it was like a Wolf event, Eva event. People named my company actually. So at the beginning, it was a non-profit. The event was a big success, and then every single small business start to call me like, Eva, can you do the same? Me too, I need money. Me too, I need to increase my turnover. So I started to do all these events, like I was turning restaurants into big nightclub with obviously the government like certificate, because you can't just do that, like your eyes, hey, I would do a nightclub for one night. So I started to do a non-profit, helping all these small businesses to get more profit and have more visibility and notoriety. So it's really how I start. And I become an entrepreneur that day. And it's been 10 years. I did event planning for 5, and 2020, we jumped from operational marketing to digital marketing. So it was a big move, but I do not have any regrets, because with that change of services, we keep helping founders and C-levels. And it was the purpose of when I create Ask Wolf, Wolf event in the past.
Right.
It's called Ask Wolf because during the COVID, every customers start to ask us a lot of things. Can you do a website? Can you do community management? Content creation. Oh, I need a commercial. And I was like, yes, we can do that. Yes. And at the end of the day, we were doing like so many things. And I was like, okay, we can't do that. So we start to really specialize. And now we do that in social media marketing. So it's what we do. We Meta partner, Shopify partner. We just help e-com and small businesses, startups to keep growing.
Yeah.
So the same thing I started 10 years ago, but in different aspects.
I love that. What were kind of more one of the most unexpected things for you? Like when you were first starting your agency, what was something that took you by surprise and how did you overcome that challenge?
I would say first when I started to do this event, I didn't expect to do 20 events the next year. So that was kind of unexpected. Um, I bought like event with going to 3,000 people. So it was like huge event. I start with 50 and 100 and then 300 was huge, 500 was huge. But when we start to create, then I have like a associate, and when we start to create like a event with 3,000 people, like a big festival of music, it was like huge. And I would say the things that we didn't expect that day is to do not have insurance. And I was wondering, I don't know, it was a big storm that day. It was the second one of this event. We did three in total, but the second one, I don't know what happened. All this water, all this rain came, all the electric components. Lose a lot of money. Have a lot of problems after that. So the weather wasn't expected. I think it's a part of being an event planner. Well, this is a short story. Yeah, you need insurance, obviously, when you're
Yeah.
oh, it's all you learn. You're like 20, 25 years old. At this time, I was like maybe 20, 23, I think, or 24.
Mhm.
So it's all you learn. But yeah, as an event planner, you never expect the weather. So sometimes you're like, oh, we do an event outside, it'll be so fun. And for no reason, in the middle of summer, it's like a big storm, and you're like, what the
Yeah.
heck is that? So you just have to find venue quickly, or move dates. It's just, yeah, management, we say. For this time, it was more about, yeah.
Yeah, totally. Weather is so unpredictable, especially if you're doing those outside events, even in the summer, right? When you might not expect a storm, they can come in and totally mess things up, right?
Yeah, one time I remember we went doing like a big event on the outside too, and we took like I don't know how many hours to fill all the balloon, to have all the balloon all already. And I don't know, like just one wind took all nowhere. Like, but you can see like 3 hours of work. We were maybe five people doing that. People don't know about this, but every single time, guys, you go to an event and you see all this balloon decoration, like just go to see the event planner or the team saying you did a great job. Because
Yeah.
it's so long to do, and
Yeah.
God, yeah. So, anyways, yeah, we will not speak about that all the podcast
All that work flying away. Yeah. That's a bummer.
memories. Yeah.
Yeah, I bet. Well, taking this to the present day in 2025, kind of give us an idea of like what does headcount look like? How many people do you have on your team? You're based in the US now, but do you still have clients in Europe? Like what does that look like as far as kind of your client mix?
Yeah. So, 2020, everything changed. I started to build a team in France. So my first headquarter is in Rouen, Normandy. And after building the team, I start to travel, see that you can kind of live as a digital nomad because all my business was digital. So when you switch from operational marketing to digital marketing, and then you just work on your computer all day, you're very free to do and go wherever you want. So I started to travel that way. And yeah, at some point I arrived in the USA 4 years ago. I did a lot of back and forth. And I was like, okay, my company in France work well. At this time, it was 5 people in France, including me. And I was like, why if I start a business in the USA? And I don't know, I fell in love with Austin, Texas. It was a very sweet city at this time. It was like end of 2020, beginning of 2021 when I really start to come here and see the market and opportunities. And yeah, and at some point, 3 years ago, I decided to move here. So I'm resident now. I live in Austin, Texas, officially since 3 years, and opened a second headquarter here a year ago. So now in France, there are 9, and here we 5 in total.
Cool.
So yeah, a big team. every people has their specialty. Marketing. We more creative agencies than a marketing agency. I like creative because we do a lot of creatives. So we can
Yep.
graphic design, branding, community management, social media management. We do a lot of motion design, like content creation. We work with content creators. So everything it's about content when you go to marketing. And if you do not have this content, it's very hard for you to build this content strategy online. So yeah, it's what we do. We aren't a production company, but we do content. So we can create content, and especially now with AI, it's very easy to create campaigns, as it's more easy to prompt everything. Don't say I will replace my graphic designer's team, but help us to create content without a production company. Uh, so it's a good thing. So yeah, it's what we do.
Awesome. Love it.
Build the team here. Maybe opening a physical agency in a year or two. It's kind of the goal. After all this year for remote, sometimes you like having people around you and hanging out and sharing ideas and not just cool Google Meet or Zoom all day long.
Yeah. The in-person is nice, right? To collaborate with people is great.
See,
Well, let's jump into kind of our main topic today. I'm super interested in this. I think it's gonna be really interesting to kind of talk about the European market and kind of how that's different than the US market, and for companies that want to break into that space, kind of what that process is like. So let's get started and just kind of let's first by, I guess, defining a little bit what we mean by European market, because I think Europe is so big, right? And there's so many I guess sub markets or areas that you could go into. So, well, for you, and I guess just for the sake of this discussion, when we're talking about European market, are we referring to France specifically, or are we talking about the whole continent?
we can speak about the our continent as you know the French market, the market in Spain or in Italy, and UK. It's kind of all the same market. And
Okay.
at some point, especially for fashion, for the fashion industry, the beauty industry, it's a lot of industries that it's very similar. We say every single country have a different culture. It's like saying with your market, you speak about US market. Okay, but if you go in the Texas market, if you go to the New York market or Cali market, it's three different markets. Just say
Totally, yeah.
yes, states. So US people who live in America have to understand that if they want to go in the Europe market, they have to think as its states because it's kind of the same size. France and Texas is the same size. France is my country. Texas is the biggest state in the USA. So sometimes people don't get that, especially people who want to come in the US market. They don't understand that the USA is that big. So they always want to go everywhere and then they lose their minds, they lose their money and they crash their business. It's happened a lot. And versus American, the US market, who want to go to the Europe market, we don't consume the same way. We don't buy the same way online, especially physically. We walk. So now I say that, but it's so stupid, but we walk to buy our groceries. So it's not a lot of Amazon delivery in France. For example, we don't have Amazon Fresh. We don't have Whole Food. It's just a different way to buy your product. So for the food industry, going to the Europe market is super hard because we have a lot of registration, especially for Europe. The beauty industry is same, skincare is same. Everything would touch your skin or go into your system, it's regulated by law.
A
So
lot of regulation, yeah.
yeah, so that's a big thing that the US market will not probably think about, and we don't have this CPG world. So that was a big surprise for me when I arrived from Europe. We say Europe because I live in London, Paris, Barcelona, so it doesn't matter if I'm French or not. I have customers all around Europe. So really, like when I arrived in Europe, I hear like CPG event, and I was like, wait, what the heck is CPG? And people look at me like I'm an extraterrestrial, like who is this girl? Like she's really asking what CPG, because I was in the marketing industry. So people, it's like saying, oh, you're a banker, but you don't know about trading,
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So I was like, oh, I'm a marketing agency. What's CPG mean? So yeah, it was very fun at this time. But it's all I learned. So consumer packaging good. It's something we don't really have in France, in Europe, because the regulation, the law. So you
Right.
can't arrive and say, hey, I don't know, here we have HEB, so we have kind of similar thing in France called Intermarché. It's kind of the same type of business, fresh good stuff. You can't arrive at Intermarché and say, hey, I have a product that creates my kitchen. Do you want to sell it? They will look at you like, who are you? Like, what are you talking about? It's so many process, and yeah, you can't sell products that way. So yeah, that's a big difference for this market. For the
Yeah.
technology, if you're a startup, it's different as well. Like, but yeah, I will say to launch a business in another country, especially if it's not yours and you don't know anything about the culture, you have to go there first and learn the culture, because you don't sell the same way, you don't speak the same way. Uh, Consumers are so different. And it's
Yeah.
like every continent. Yeah, tomorrow you start to do business with Asian, you will not speak the same way that you will go to do a business between US citizens.
Totally. Yeah.
Uh, just the same, yeah.
So you mentioned regulation, for example, with like consumer goods, and then there's I'm sure regulation on B2B type stuff as well. What are other than regulation? What are kind of some of the excuse me? What are some of the other core differences between selling in the U.S. versus selling in the European market?
So yeah, you have the law aspect, obviously, as a data aspect. So you just mentioned B2B.
Mhm.
For example, we kind of the same, especially in France. The law in France and the law in California and New York, it's kind of the same.
Mm.
Regulation by the states, with the RGPD, the GRPD. RGPD in France. GRPD, all this data protection.
Right.
Just think like Europe protect people. Here, people are assets for business. So it's just, just not the same thing. It's not the same thing. So that's the first thing. And to answer your question, the price.
Mm.
A salary, an employee in Europe, for example, I don't know, I will say social media marketer. He will turn between 2 to 3K a month. Yeah, it can be between 2 and 3K a week.
Oh wow. Yeah. So more expensive in the U.S. is what you're saying.
And more expensive here, the life, it's you have to pay insurance here. We don't pay insurance in France. I mean, you have private insurance, obviously, everywhere in the world, but you have social security, including into your payroll. Um, this is including. So they remove a lot of things. So at the end of the day, some people work 35 hours a week for 1,200 a month, you know
Mm.
and it's what it is. It's a market like that. So when you build the business, as me, like I built my first marketing agency. It was an event agency, but we'll say a marketing agency.
Yeah.
The price I can sell my services in France versus here, it's 3 to 5 times plus here than in France.
Wow. Mm.
A monthly basis in France, you can say like $500 to $1,000 euro. Here it can be between 1,000 to 5,000 for the exactly same services.
Mhm.
And I remember when I arrived in the US markets and I started to send my quotes, they were like, I'm sorry, I'm confused. I was like, what are you confused about? Is it daily or? And I was
Yeah.
like,
Yes, it's daily.
I was like, no, it's for the month. It's a monthly package. And I lose a lot of deal like that. Then they were like, you're too cheap. And when they were saying that, I was like, oh my God, I'm too cheap. And for me, cheap is a word cheap in my language, it's like very hard. Like it's like you cheap, like you can put yourself in a bin, you know?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. It's like
Not like
cash.
not expensive. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh my God, okay. And then I start to double my price, triple. And it's where I start to learn because, I will not go to marketing agencies in the US asking you quotes. I mean, people are not stupid. I don't want to do like the fake client to get the
Secret shopping thing. Yeah.
spreads and price market. I mean, I'm not like that. So I was just testing and see what's working and what's worthy. And then I start to understand really the market. And that took me almost 2 years to really understand what's a good price in the US versus what's not. And obviously, of course, then you start to have clients and you work with a lot of premium clients, you can double again your price.
Charge even more. Yeah.
Yeah, because then you have social proof and people trust you more. And yeah, you can say, okay, yeah, no, I have a portfolio in the USA. Of course, I will never charge you $500 a month ever again. You can put a zero behind. But because uh, now we know how to work and have new process, we wanted to speak about scaling an agency as well. It's a part of that. I arrived 4 years ago. I was kind of solopreneur with a team in France. Don't know anything about the market, learn everything here. When I arrived, my English wasn't that good, still not because I'm French, but it's getting better. But this is a part of, okay, or you can negotiate in another language, or you can do codes in another type of codes and estimate and invoice, because in France you have to put all these things because then you have a law to register or to create an invoice. You have a law to everything. It's about law in France.
Wow. Interesting. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, for sure, if we have lawyers listening to us, they know that we have one of the country with the more law in business to protect employees
Yeah.
and people. So it's kind of
Consumers. Yeah.
yeah, when you think about it. But yeah, anyway, so yeah, it was interesting. Two different markets. But it can be the same for another continent. It's just a part of. I said, if you want to
Yeah.
do business in another country, you have to learn about everything before.
Yeah, no matter where it's at, right? Like wherever you want to go globally. You even mentioned like even in the US, going to another state, it's going to be a different space, different regulations even too, like within the US, depending on what you're doing, taxes, all that kind of stuff can make a difference as well.
Yeah.
We talked a little bit about kind of like differences between the European market and US market. What would you say are kind of some top similarities or things that are in common between the two markets that people might find surprising?
I would say business still business. I think it's international rules.
Mm.
How to sell. You sell the same way everywhere in the world. You have this lock systems and agreements. It's an agreement. So it's a lot of similarity as I'm a service provider. You're a service provider in Europe and a service provider here. You will not lose your mind. Pretty easy to adapt your business. Because business is business. Same. People work with you because they know you or they like you or they trust you. It's not a lot of criteria why someone will start to make business with someone else. So when you understand that and you unlock your mindset that way, then you just have to build trust. And when you're in another country, it's not you, another city you never been. It took time because people have to know who you are, what you're doing, what's your skills, and why they not
Yeah.
work with you. And US people understand that very well because for you it's kind of seeing things very young. A lot of people move from states, from city to city, especially for work, especially since the COVID as well. So having people moving from state to state and be new in the cities, it's something normal. This is not in Europe. You can move from Paris to London, or from Paris to Barcelona or to Milano because it's big cities. But it's not really usual to go and move in another city. People in the north stay in the north, people in the south stay in the south. And if they move for some reason, it's a family reason, but it's very rare people move for business in the south. Business in France, especially, it's Paris. and business in UK, it's London, and it's IT. So we don't have a lot of big cities in countries in Europe. So it's basically like you can know very easily almost all business owners, as Paris is very short. Barcelona and Madrid is very short. And when you start to know kind of everyone, it's very like, yeah, short world. We always say short world, and I think it's true thing.
Yeah. What so for a company that wants to break into the European market, whether that's on the consumer goods side or they wanted to be a service provider, what kind of suggestions would you have for them to how they could get started as far as getting that process going?
So yeah, you mean from US to go to Europe or Europe to go to the US?
I guess both, but primarily US to Europe, right? If people want to break into the European market.
Um, yeah, I would say go to live in the country where you want to start. And it's the same, I will say it's the same advice in the opposite way. European, don't start to go every state. Start with one state, one city. A lot of people open a second headquarter or new shops or something in multiple cities, and they don't think one city, one state. So do the same for Europe. Say one city, one country. One country, number one in one city, number one in the second, number one in the third. And it's the same, especially even if you US based, if you start to be number one in California, you can be number one in New York, you can be number one in Texas, but you can't launch a product in LA and then say, oh yeah, we launched in New York City. It doesn't work like that, especially for critical location. So
Right.
it's different. If you build a business online, of course you can focus on multiple cities, but stay in one state to start. Don't put your money on marketing and advertising everywhere. Focus. I always say short, and then you go bigger.
Then go
And
broad later, yeah.
yeah, it's the same for an agency. When you build your business, a lot of people start to do a lot of services. And we always say it's better to be very perfect in one thing than starting to do 10 services and people don't even remember what you're doing. So services, extra services or add-on go in with the time. So you, a graphic designer, you will not start to be a videographer. You have to be perfect in graphic design. People know you're a graphic designer. And then you can say, oh yeah, you know what? I do videography too. Do you want some extra content? And that is the thing. Yeah.
Go narrow and then go broad later, right?
Yeah, always start with a small scope, especially when you launch a product, you launch your services, launch your company, whatever you want to launch.
I love that. Yeah.
Exactly.
I think that's key. Yeah, strategically, right? To start narrow and then go broad later when you have market leadership or you have proof that what you're doing you can do effectively, right? So
yeah. And it was one of the mistakes I did too with Eva Wolf. It was different because it was an event agency, become a digital agency, and all my customers asked me so many things that I couldn't say no because I didn't really know where the world was going at this time. But yeah, it was a mistake because then people didn't know what we were really doing. So like, so what you doing? Like marketing? Yeah, but what? Yeah.
what? Yeah, what does that mean? Yeah. What does that mean? What kind of marketing, right? Yeah.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So it's
Well,
always better to be specialized in something.
yeah. Well, Eva, just to wrap up, I like to ask this question to everybody that comes on the show because the marketing industry just changes so much and it changes so quickly. But what are you looking at as far as kind of trends or things that you're watching out for in the marketing industry in the next maybe year or two?
I would say same trust. You have to build trust with consumers. And I believe that now people focus more on who you are, what's the brand, who is behind the brand. So the next couple of years, a lot of storytelling.
Storytelling, yeah.
People love to know about the founder, the story behind the founder, and what happened, why you launch this brand. Like every people can launch brand now. Every people can arrive in fashion industry or beauty or they create a snack company, like it's not something very hard now. So I say marketing, be honest always, but in life, it's always something I say, like be honest. People want honest people. So be honest and do a very green marketing if you can. Don't sell bullshit. If you can try to do less plastic, do less plastic, even if it costs more, something long term, So, if you can focus on green marketing and storytelling to build trust, it's really the true key for the next couple of years.
I love that. Thank you for sharing that. I appreciate it. If people want to get a hold of you, if they want to get in touch with you, where can they find you?
Yeah, LinkedIn, Eva Wolf. You can also find me on Instagram, evawolf.fr, like France, easy. And email askwolf.agency for the website. And just do a little chat, even a little comment below this video. And we can just keep it in touch.
Awesome. Well, Eva, it's been great having you on the show. Again, thanks so much for coming on.
Yeah, thank you so much, Ellie, and I appreciate it. It was a good talk.
Thank you for joining us in this episode of The Founders Corner, the podcast series for marketing firms and agencies looking to learn and level up their business. You can check out more podcasts and other content from OneBridge Accounting by following the links in the show notes. At OneBridge Accounting, we're all about helping marketing and creative firms organize their finances, maximize their profits, save cash, and automate their accounting and finance functions. Check out our other resources and subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts.